So it's finally come to the point where I have to make the Yang breakdown character video. But the question I'm asking myself is, how long should it be? Hey, everybody out there! In YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, and welcome to another character breakdown. This time we're going to be talking about the Super Saiyan of RWBY, Yang Xiao. Now, when Yang was first introduced into RWBY, it was in the yellow trailer, of course, and it's there we got to see a lot about what personality she was going to have and how she was going to affect the story. We saw that she was a rebel, she was a rogue, she was a person who went into a club and grabbed a man's balls and crushed them in order to get information. She doesn't really have that many boundaries if you really think about it. She wants to get what she wants, but not in the desperate, evil kind of way. She's just has a very... She's good with people, I think. She can either talk them down or crush their balls to get what she wants. Now, this may be my own personal opinion, but I personally think that Yang is in fact the strongest out of the entire team of RWBY. I mean, she's been able to tank multiple giant hits that would just flat out kill other members and keep fighting, and that's mostly due to her semblance, where I'm not sure if it has an exact name. Blood Rage, Frenzy, Bloodlust, Super Saiyan, whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is that she draws power from the damage that she takes in. And it's because of this that she's able to continue fighting when others would simply collapse or die. So that means that her strength, durability, and stamina are almost off the charts. She's able to deal incredible hits, take incredible hits, and we've seen that her strength is incredible. She's able to carry a giant stereo and set it down on the ground, and it was heavy enough to create a mini quake. And she was just carrying it like it was willy-nilly. Yang is pretty freaking strong. If I were to classify her way of fighting, it would be brawler. She is somebody who goes into a fight with nothing pretty much but her fists. And of course, she has her weapons and Berserker that complement her way of fighting. Either when she's throwing a punch, the initial contact with the enemy body that she's making can cause a dust round in Berserker to discharge, or she can use a discharge from the weapon to help amplify the inertia of her punch. And even though she has been known to use kicks and sometimes even flips in her fighting, she is very much a boxer type fighter. Once again, like I said, a brawler. But the one thing that I can't really gauge is that how efficient would she be without her weapons? I mean, we've seen her use weapons for flying, for punching, and for ranged attacks. But if you were to take Berserker away from Yang, would her punches be just as powerful? I would like to see in the future a scenario where she doesn't have Berserker, where she has to punch a bunch of guys with just her fists, and how she would be able to get out of that. I think that would be really cool to see. Now, unfortunately, since Blake is both a brawler and pretty much the tank of the group, this kind of takes away from her agility, I believe. She has to rely highly on her weapons to help get her into elevated positions and help get around the battlefield quickly. She is meant to kind of just be that player that's right there in the center of it all, taking damage to help amplify her power and to keep hits from going to her teammates, which are much more squishy than her. Also, her speed really isn't all that speedy, if you will. Once again, she relies highly on her weapons to amplify her speed, but without them, she probably wouldn't be all that fast. Like I said, she's very much the tank of the group, as in, she's very durable, but she's slow. But I think out of all the members of Team RWBY, she is probably one of the best to take on opponents just if she was by herself. If she had to take on an entire legion of enemies by herself, I think that she would do the best, just due to the fact of her semblance. But since we're talking a lot about her semblance, it does have a weak point. The weak point is that if she cannot take hits, if she doesn't take hits, she isn't going to be amped up, and her semblance pretty much works against her. She can't draw on the energy of people's attacks to fuel her own. We saw this in her fight with Neo. Neo, in fact, didn't hit her all that much. She mostly dodged and taunted her, thus throwing Yang into a temperament. She was angry, and she couldn't draw upon her semblance for power. Also due to the fact that she had been fighting Grim all night in the previous day, she was also very tired, and that's why Neo was able to take her out with pretty much 2 hits. Yang's major weakness semblance-wise is that if an enemy can hit her a specific way, like just 1 or 2 times, Yang's gonna be out of the fight and she's not gonna be able to fight. As we saw, Yang was knocked unconscious just due to a few hits. Now, let's get on to Yang's personality. Now, one of the things that really caught me off guard is if you look on the back of a RWBY Volume 1 DVD, it states Yang is a party girl. And I can see how they got this from the yellow trailer. You know, she goes to a club, she enjoys being at the club, beating up all these guys. I can see her as a party girl. But so far, in the series, she hasn't really displayed that much party girlness. When I think of a party girl, I think of somebody who kind of, you know, doesn't really care about responsibility. I'm just gonna go out and do my own thing. And that actually comes into play when Oobleck asks her why she became a huntress. She was a thrill seeker. She wanted to just go, have fun, do whatever, and it was kind of brought out in that way. But mostly, I saw Yang as a very responsible maternal figure, especially for RWBY. Due to the fact that Summer Rose disappeared and was killed early on in RWBY's life, Yang kind of had to take over as the elder sibling, the older female person in the household to take care of RWBY. And I think that's where a majority of her amazingness as a character comes out. She seems to be a party girl. She has the capability to be a party girl, but she doesn't squander responsibility to do so. She wants to look after RWBY. She isn't mad at RWBY at all for like, oh, well, I had to, you know, be your mother for all your life, so blah-de-blah-de-blue. She isn't like that. Not only is Yang a very much maternal figure, but she is very humble. She is a very humble character, and that's why I believe people very much like her. Not only does she just have enormous confidence, but she is also humble to the fact that she will, you know, comfort her friends when they're going through a tough time. She'll help break her younger sister out of a socially awkward shell. And that's what's so great about Yang. Not only does Yang want to help RWBY come out of her shell, but she also looks up to her and admires her. We see this in episode 5 of Volume 1, Players in Pieces, when RWBY, you know, kind of stands on that rock, does that triumphant, you know, pose look, and then Yang kind of just sits there and admires her. She's looking and seeing. She has the capability of being a leader, of being a hero. She respects RWBY, and she isn't jealous of RWBY at all. That's another great thing about Yang is Yang is very much a very awesome character. Another thing to take note of is that Yang has other friends besides Team RWBY. As we saw in the second episode of Volume 1, that she ditches RWBY to go hang out with her friends. Now that was a form of tough love, if you really break it down. You know, new environment, RWBY, you gotta make friends, so I'm gonna go off with my friends, see you later, bye. You know, and sure they were just a black silhouetted people, but maybe we'll get to see who Yang's friends really are, you know, later on in the series or something like that. And this next part, I know I'm gonna piss off a bunch of you Bumblebee shippers, but Yang is attracted to males. We did see this in Volume 1 when she was checking out the guys all in their pajamas and stuff like that. She is in fact attracted to the male physique. I'm sorry. Sorry I had to crush that, but you know, I had to bring it to light, and I apologize. Not really, though. Now, although Yang didn't have much character development in Volume 1, we saw that she was a layered character. We saw that she was, you know, the party girl, but she was also responsible. She was a maternal figure to RWBY. She admired RWBY and all this kind of stuff. We didn't really get to see much of character development in Yang until Volume 2. But two of the things that were both in Volume 1 and Volume 2 was Yang's love of puns. And this comes definitely from her voice actress, Barbara Dunkelman, aka Barbara Punkelman, due to the fact that she's always stating puns. And if you guys don't know about Barbara Punkelman, I suggest you go and do some research of your own. So not only does Yang have a thing for puns, but she also has a bit of a temper. It can flare up. And especially if you mess with her hair. You mess with her hair, she go full Super Saiyan, destroy you. And this temper later comes into play when she's fighting Neo. When she can't land a blow, when no blows being landed at her, when Neo's practically taunting her. You can see Yang is just getting super angry, just like, I wanna hit you, you wanna hit me, why don't we hit each other? And Neo's just like, no, I don't think I'm gonna hit you quite yet. We see that Yang can very much have a temper, and will it blow out of proportion at some point where she can't control herself? I think it's a definite possibility, due to the fact that her semblance calls upon such power, and that power changes the color of her eyes, that it can very much consume her if her rage gets to a certain point. So we're gonna have to look out for that in the coming volumes. We also see that one of Yang's greatest pastimes is playing the Kingdoms of Remnant board game. Very much like Risk, if you think about it, mixed with a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, I think? I don't know. Rooster Teeth, get on, jump on it, and create that board game so we can play it, damn it. She is a champion at that game. She was always winning against her teammates and against RWBY, and does this mean that she has a strategic kind of mind, or is she just extremely lucky and knows how to play that game? I mean, we haven't really seen her come up with any amazing strategies yet, but you know, that can change at some point in the series. She takes more of a strategic role. But then again, Yang's fighting type is very much just jump into the fray of everything and just see what science is out. You know, I punch them, they punch me, let's see what science is out. And one of the biggest things that we discovered in Volume 2 was Yang's mother issues. Her mother issues. How her mother left Yang and Tai Yang, you know, her father, at a very young age, almost immediately after Yang was born. Why did this happen? We're not actually sure yet. But Yang has carried that ever since it happened. And she still looks for her mother. And she wants to find out why she left. Why did this happen? But as she states, she doesn't let it consume her. She doesn't want to be obsessed over this thing because she knows that other people need her. Other things take importance sometimes, and that's why she's such a responsible character. She is selfish in her own right that she wants to do this, but she doesn't let that selfishness consume her entire life. It's okay to be selfish at some points and about some things, but having it consume you is what makes it bad. And yes, this did kind of pay off with the very end of Volume 2, where Yang has a confrontation with Raven, now confirmed to be her mother. So, now that she has actually found her mother, what's actually going to happen? What questions is she going to ask? What is Raven's appearance in the series going to contribute to Yang? These are questions that are probably going to be answered in the 3rd volume, so I look forward to that, definitely. But I think one of the biggest things about Volume 2 that happened to Yang was her defeat by Neo. Before then, we saw all the members of Team RWBY. None of them have really been defeated in battle. They've all been very good at fighting and at doing their job, especially Yang. Yang has always been that person that we were always like, yeah, nobody can beat her, yeah, no way she can be beat. But it was in Volume 2 that we actually got to see members of Team RWBY get defeated. RWBY is taken prisoner by the White Fang. Weiss falls to the White Fang lieutenant, and Yang is defeated by little old Neo in 2 hits, and is almost flat out killed. I think that is probably one of the most important things about Volume 2, is that it showed that Team RWBY isn't invincible, and especially their strongest member, who may be, in fact, one of the weakest when it comes to a different type of fighting style. If a fighting style comes into play that Yang cannot cope with, how is she going to deal with it? We don't know. So many questions. Volume 3, hurry up! Alrighty, to wrap things up about Yang, I just want to throw in a little key points there. One of the things I really find extremely funny about Yang is that her high socks that she wears, that, you know, one's like all the way up, one's like scrunched down. It shows that she has a personality of just kind of like, yeah, you know, I don't really care. This is just how I look, and I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous because I look like this. And also, her motorcycle's name is Bumblebee due to the fact of people shipping her and Blake, and then not only got contributed into the series to be a combo attack, but also the name of her motorcycle. Yang be riding Bumblebee all day long! And I know it's kind of a shady, low thing to talk about, but she is indeed well endowed. I mean, that's it. That's like a lot. That's like what's there. She was the first one to have jiggle physics. So, you know, just wanted to bring that up. First to have jiggle physics, so, I feel dirty now. I'm sorry, Yang. I love you for your character, not only your body. Hey, everybody out there. This is the end slate, and pretty much that's all I got to talk about Yang right now. I mean, it probably wasn't as in-depth and stuff than the other ones, and I apologize for that, but a whole bunch is going on right now, and I just have so much stuff on my brain, on my mind. So I hope you enjoyed either way, and be sure to leave comments down below on anything you think I missed, or, you know, a question, comment, you know, whatever. Be sure to like and favorite if you've enjoyed. Subscribe, of course, if you feel inclined to. Check out some other videos that I've done. I do a lot of them, especially about RWBY. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out there in YouTube land. Be a good person. Tip your waitresses. Keep moving forward. I'll see you then.